Hello, myself Sunil R Nair, and here basically we are discussing about some dangerous topic, that is earthquakes and currencies dependency. Currencies what and dependency we have already taken on the example. A dependency of the exchanger example, and currency basically that everybody knows it's a money basically. So like in this basically we are discussing about the topic, that is ideas basically, and 900 people basically are generating the ideas basically. And like this basically we had discussed lots of things basically. Now in this topic basically we are going to discuss about the government aspect basically. Up to what level government will be responsible if they are allowing to open the school, and they are allowing to do the R&D also basically in the school basically. And one of the person told that basically the chemical which they get, students basically they are basically filtered, or basically they are also basically non-filter basically. Non-filter means the real chemical they are getting. Then one of the government people told that we are only basically sending the chemical data, so it is not going to harm to the environment basically, because we are sending it and we are basically filtering each and every data basically, because we are going to add the a plus b equal to c plus d. That d is basically our data na, basically, which is in the environment in that lab only basically. And in lab basically the power company data is also there. In lab the nuclear power company data is also basically there. In lab basically the satellite data are also basically there. So when you open one school basically, you have to take the permission from satellite also. But that basically by default the government takes basically, because whenever you are opening the school basically, that data basically goes to each and every power department. It doesn't go, because power department know that basically this is the school basically where you are to supply the power data. And power data are connected with the energy companies, and energy company by default are connected with one nuclear power company basically by default basically. So it's very deeply connected. If you are opening one school also, it's very deeply connected. So you can just imagine if one school basically is connected to so much deep basically. So how deep the education system might be? How the education system basically might be? So mostly basically education system basically need to refresh everything basically. Otherwise basically it might create a big problem basically. Because if you are creating one school that require this much permission basically, that means something might be problem there. Something problem might be there basically. Otherwise basically why this much permission basically is required? That also up to satellite level basically you have to take the permission. That means everybody knows that basically there is a problem. There is a problem basically. Everybody knows. Otherwise without permission basically school can open. Na, without permission school can't open. Just create one building and just start the study basically. This can't be done. This also can be done. But without, if you are doing that basically, then the checking is going to come basically who given the permission basically. Because they are going to think na, basically. If the person is basically doing the study basically, and the teacher is teaching the, for example 100 students are basically doing the study, the 100 students are going to think basically, right? They are going to, for example they are basically 7th 8th standard basically is ongoing. The 7th 8th education basically books basically are connected with the set of energy na, basically. So if they are going to think, then the energy is going to attract to that area na, basically. So that area is not set as a school basically, that has not taken the permission basically. So that is by default going to create problem in the energy basically, sorry, in the environment basically. That's why there is problem basically, that basically government also know, satellite group also know, NASA also know, ISRO also know, each and every people basically know. The reason permission basically has to be taken basically. To create one simple lab also basically you have to take permission to what level, just say few permission basically are granted to the power company and energy company basically. So they, that permission basically, if otherwise each and every school permission is reached to the NASA and ISRO also basically. So NASA and ISRO basically have given the permission to schools, sorry, to power company, energy company and nuclear power company, that you can sign on behalf of us basically. So that is very dangerous. So that is very dangerous. Basically, you have given the authority basically. You have given the authority school that you can do anything basically. But school mostly basically never do anything basically, because NASA and ISRO basically are watching each and every schools also basically, that also you can say. That is basically through energy basically. They directly basically don't watch the watch through the camera basically, that what is the school people basically doing, what the students basically are doing. They basically directly basically don't watch the camera basically from the satellite basically, from NASA ISRO group basically say that basically what actually is doing, just see basically. This type of thing basically they can't do, no, basically. They basically might be doing, but their people basically might not be doing. They might be given the contract to somebody else basically. That type of thing basically might be possible, because that group basically will never do basically this type of activity basically. This type of activity that group basically never do basically. So like this also basically things are basically there. So to open one school also, if you are required this many energy, one person opened the school building, in the building 100 students are basically doing the study of 7th 8th standard. He started studying, students started studying, the energy starts attracting, the environment basically is going to affect, right? Why? Because 100 the 100 people basically are doing the study. That permission is not given by the government. Government has not given the permission. They are doing the study without permission basically. So that means the government basically know the problem. Otherwise basically why that means they might be doing something in the environment basically. They might be doing something in the environment. That means government also know that educational basically some problem is there basically. Education basically, in education there is some problem, that government also know. Reason, they are giving the permission to open the school. Otherwise basically what is there any thing basically happening, illegal things is basically happening in the school? Is there any illegal activities going to happen in the school? They are just going to take the education only, basically. So why the registration is required, why the things basically are required? Reason is this only basically, that is the education system basically have some problem, and that basically problem basically they are trying to solve basically from the setting the environment basically. The example is 100 people basically 7th 8th standard basically people are doing the study without permission. So government tracked that. Why? Because that energy basically was generating to that area, and that area basically got some effect basically. What effect? That basically environment group only basically knows. So what if something effect basically got due to that, power company, energy company and nuclear power company tracked it, and immediately basically they send the people basically, you are doing the illegal activity in this area. He was basically not doing illegal activity. He was basically not doing the illegal activity. He was just doing the students. He was just giving the. He was just teaching the student basically. That means this is illegal activity. Government directly comes to that place and basically directly telling there is you are doing some illegal activity. So teaching basically any student basically, poor student, that is illegal activity. That is illegal activity. So that is not illegal activity. So that means education basically have some problem. Otherwise basically why basically the permission is required? Why basically government keeps A plus B equal to C? That is the formula is given in book. C plus D, that is D is basically government formula. They adds D add D, C plus D, D is government, then D plus E. That E is basically a power company, energy company and nuclear power company data. After that satellite data. So that means there is some problem. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit about more about ideas and views basically, which are basically created by 900 crore population, which is basically in the earth planet just now.